We have Snowfall today, and Teresa has been playing in the snow. That's right. Now, you would expect us to have 12 by 12 papers, and now you would expect us to have chipboard that matches. And have you noticed the new lower price on chipboard? It's really great. But now we're doing more. We're offering cardstock. You can see there are 6 colors. You're going to get 2 of each. Of course, they match perfectly. We also have die cuts. We love the cutouts in the papers, but we've decided to add die cuts. There are 2 sheets, a total of 31 die cuts. And for the first time, we have 6 by 6 Snowfall. So we've enlarged the collection as we bring each of them to you. Teresa's had a great time, and I invite you to come play with us. Here's Teresa's first card, and I do need to tell you, Teresa has done 5 cards, so sit back, relax. You're going to see some wonderful things. We'll start with this, and as you can see, this has an evacuated area on the front, but it is covered with Snowfall acetate. Now let me show you what that looks like. It is this, just in case you aren't familiar with it. It's from Hunky Dory, and certainly we're going to use it nicely with our paper collection. So in this case, Teresa used this paper out of the 12 by 12, and you can see where it starts right here. Now, she did a couple of things differently. So she wanted to cut down the paper first, step 1. The directions and the sizes and everything are down below in the gallery, so I'm not going to go through with measurements, but just want to give you that information. So what she did is she took her card front, cut down her paper, and then she used the low-tack tape. This also happens to be from Hunky Dory. And look, everything matches in color. And she just tacked the paper to the front of the card. And then she die cut out the oval shape. Now, of course, you can probably guess that she used our 12 oval and scallop cutting dies to make that super easy. So then she could, so then she's got her paper cut and her card cut, but before she glued them together, she did a piece of the Snowfall acetate and glued it to the front of her card and glued the paper down on top of it. Why did she do that? Well, that way she's got a clean look on the inside front of her card, and that's something that Teresa really likes to have. Now, there are just so many things going on, but let me talk to you about the chipboard, because this reindeer and these trees are part of the chipboard set. And let me show you that whole set. This is out of the package. And I was really curious as to how Teresa got this variegated look both on the trees and on the deer. I just thought it was so pretty. And I was wondering what she did and what I would be doing to duplicate it. But what she did is something super, super simple. So I'm going to bring in my craft mat, and I've got my chipboard right here. And Teresa flipped it over, so I'm going to do that too. And this is the piece that she used. So these are the trees. Now, you can elect to leave them in here to color them, or you can pop them out. You know, it's really your choice. I think I'll pop these out right now. And she took an ink pad, and she used the Harmony ink pads from Spectrum Noir. These are water reactive. They're water base, or a dye base, so water reacts with them. So she used Pine Tree on the trees. That makes sense. She used a Seal Brown on the deer. She did the same process for both of them, and let me show you. I love the fact that it's easy. So she took her ink pad and simply went over the chipboard, just exactly like I'm doing. It's nothing any more difficult than this. And just want to get that nicely covered. Okay, so there we go. Then she took a spritzer. This is our water spritzer, and simply spritzed, just like that. Now, as you will see, as that dries, it's going to lift some of the color. It just does that automatically. Can you see what's happening? Isn't that nice? And you've got it looking so it's variegated. Now, if you wanted to, you could take a tissue and blot off a couple of areas if that's something you wanted to do. But it just is so easy, and I love it. I love the look of it. Now, so we've got those going on. Let me bring back in the card so you can see. You see right down here, that looks like snow. Well, that's another product. It's another favorite of ours. And I'm going to slide this over. In fact, I'm going to put a self-healing mat underneath. Okay. So there it is. I'm going to take the Cosmic Shimmer Fluffy Stuff. Comes in a container like this, and you just squeeze it down. Now, when I first started doing this, I was really making it very heavy. You don't have to, because it's going to puff up. That's why it's called Fluffy Stuff. So I'm just going to do a little stream of this at the bottom, just like Teresa did. Now, she put a few little pieces on other areas, and that's perfectly fine. I'm not going to take the time to do that. I will bring in my heat gun. This is Crafter's Companion. It is a collapsible one, and I'm going to just go ahead and heat this, and it's going to puff up, and it'll just take a moment, and you can see what's happening. Just like embossing powder. Okay, can you see that going on? Just right along the top. So it's puffing up, it's getting a little textured. And I don't even really have to hold this down in place. There we go. So easy, so simple. And because you use so little, that fluffy stuff is going to go a long way, so you can use it all winter long, and probably into next year too. Okay, I think we've got it. There we go. And as you can see, when it's thicker, it's going to take a little bit longer to get activated. So super easy. And a great, great look. I absolutely love it, and love the fact that Teresa shared it with us. I have to tell you, I haven't seen this before, so I'm pretty excited. So easy to do on the trees, easy to do on the deer. And you can see that she's also put some on the front of her card. So that also gives some dimension. Now, can you see that the sparkly dazzles are there too? And Teresa has used the Snowflakes dazzles, aptly named. Now, this sheet has 10, or this package has 10 sheets. You can see they come in blues and silvers. There's even a transparent one in here. There it is. And teal, so lots of options. In fact, she's going to use this package on most of the projects today, so that's nice because it can do double duty. And there are a total of 574 snowflakes in this package, so that will do well for you. Now, for the season's greetings, that is going to come out of the 6x6 paper. It's right there. She matted it on the light blue. This is the cardstock. By the way, the cardstock is white on the back side, and it's printed to have the colors to perfectly match the papers. That works really well too, doesn't it? Now, on the inside of our card, sorry about hopping around there. So you saw the paper that Teresa used on the front of her card. It was this 12x12. On the inside, she used the matching 6x6. Yes. Doesn't that work nicely? And she also matted it on another of the cardstocks that's going to work so well on the inside. And then the Be Merry is right here in the 6x6 papers. So 6x6 and 12x12 are getting a workout. The chipboard and the cardstock, everything is designed to coordinate. Well, of course it is. That's what we would want. Okay, so that's our first card. Lots of new techniques here. We're going to go to our second one. And Teresa has done a slimline card. Isn't this nice? So this is a brand new look, and you're going to be seeing more of this. They are, let's see, she is using a piece of white cardstock for her base, and the piece measures, let me get this in here, it measures 10.5 by 8.5. And then she's got 2 score lines. So measuring from the left, 3.5 inches in and a score, 7 inches in, and another score. That allows this to fold without overlapping anything, so just nicely done. Okay, now Teresa, I think it's really fun what she has done. She has used this 12 by 12 paper, and she wanted that deer to be the focus on the front. Well, that worked beautifully, don't you think? But what she also did is then she used the next panel over on the inside of her card. That works really great too. Now on this one, she used a different paper, and it is actually, where is it? Well, I guess you can tell. Oh, here it is. Oh, okay. It is obviously one of the other papers. I don't have it here, so bear with me. Oh, I know, it was the one that we used on the very front card, okay? So that another piece of that has been used. So let me go back to the front, and I'll just walk you through what Teresa has done. She does a technique, and this is kind of a Teresa technique, where very often she will cut her paper to size, and then she will wrap ribbon around it. Now, what's nice about that is that the ribbon ends are tucked underneath the paper, so they never fray, they are never a problem. And Teresa used of course, our blue ribbon set. This is going to be a set that you're going to see a couple more times today. So that is wrapped around, then she tied a bow, and then she put some of the 49th and Market flowers. This happens to be blue raspberry. And you get them in 3 different sizes. You get leaves and so forth. And Teresa has done just a really pretty cluster. Just 2 flowers and 2 leaves is right there, and just really beautiful. Now, the snowfall look is through everything. So in order to duplicate that, Teresa took our Cosmic Shimmer acrylic glue, kind of put some on, kind of tapped it on with her finger, and then she went to the diamond dust. Now, this is the honkin' big diamond dust, 14 ounces. There's also a 3 ounce, but all you do is sprinkle it on, and then tap it in, and then take the excess back into the jar. So this is going to last a long, long time. This is cut glass, so it's recyclable, which is really nice to know. And it, you just tap it in, and you're going to get that beautiful, beautiful shimmery look. So that's what Teresa has done. Now, Blessed is on the die cut sheet right here, and she has just lifted up with foam tape. She's got those snowflake dazzles all over for her next one. I thought this was a great look. So on the front, she's got the large deer. On this panel, she's got all of the trees, but then she went to the die cut and placed that deer into the scene. And I think it's just a beautiful look. She added Peace on Earth die cut, 1 other flower, the circle die cut goes right there, and some more diamond dust, and of course some dazzle snowflakes. Now, on the last sheet, she has gone back to her 12 by 12 paper and done one of the cutouts. And then also that tag right there, well, that's on that other sheet of die cuts right there. So she's layered them, they're both flat, and then she's added the dazzles, a little bit of ribbon, and that completes this card. Now, if you are wondering about envelopes, well, this will fit into a number 10 envelope. That's the regular envelope. You can, actually, I can get them at my grocery store. So that works just beautifully. And if you love that look, there's going to be lots more to come. Okay, let's go to another one. And this card can come flat like this, but then it also stands up, just like that. And I love the way that Teresa has done a panorama. You see? Okay, let me show you the card base, and then we'll get into making the card. The card base starts with a piece of cardstock. You can use the cardstock, as I said, that we have, or you can take another piece, whatever you like. It measures 9 inches by 5 inches. Now we're going to do some scoring. So measuring from the left, 1.5 inches, do a score, 2.5 inches, another score, 6.5 inches, and 7 3/4. Now, to make our card base, The inside folds are going to be valley folds, just like this. Now the top ones are going to be mountain folds, so they're going to come back like this. Let me show it to you on its side. See the valley and the mountain, the valley and the mountain, and that's going to be our card base. Now what Teresa did is she cut a piece of our Snowfall acetate, and this piece has the extra sticky tape, the tape with the adhesive, the super adhesive on each side, and then she placed her card like so. She had it so that this side is flat. You see it's open, this side is closed. And then she removed the tape and attached the acetate like so. Now this is important because it will allow your card to move like so. But you need to remember that when you go to place it, the right side is flat, the left side is folded, okay? And then you just position this so that it is onto both of those outside panels, and it will work perfectly. Okay, that's the trick. So it's up to you. Now what I love that Teresa did, well, I love so much that she did, but she took one piece of the 6x6 and she used it in 3 panels. So you can see that center panel right there. The side panel is using those trees. The right panel is using those trees. And I think it's just brilliant. Now because she used the cardstock that is white on the back side, the card becomes the mat. And so all of these measurements are down there in the gallery. To go on this side, on the outside, she used this 6x6 panel. So you can see that that's going to work for both of them. Now you can either mat them on the cardstock, or if you wanted to have used this purple paper as this purple cardstock as your card base, that will also self-mat it, okay? So it's your choice. Now the Snowy Wishes, that is going to be a cutout on the 6x6. Snowy Wishes to You. She did mat it on the cardstock, and this little flag is right here. It's one of the die cuts. So you can see now the warmth, joy, and happiness, that's also in the cutouts. Let me see. Yeah, there we go. It's right there. And that also got matted, and it works just beautifully. Now this card is, again, it's going to be flat when you mail it, and then the person can stand it up. You can put your greeting and your wishes, your well wishes on the back of it, but really, really different. Now, let's get into more of this. Teresa has created this card, and once again, she has used the cardstock to create her card base. And she did that because the card base is going to be white on the inside, but the cardstock color on the outside, okay? The other thing that she did on this, so let me walk you through the construction of this card. So she has 2 pieces. Let's see, let me open this up for you first. Can you see that that opening has the Snowfall acetate in the middle? Really, really nice, and you can see how we open it. Okay, let me give you the card base and how we create that. We're going to have 2 pieces of cardstock. One is 8.5 by 5, measuring 2 inches from the left side to score it. Now you want to put the extra sticky tape right along that outside edge. I'll show you why in a minute. The second piece is going to measure 5 inches by 2.25. It too is going to have a piece of the extra sticky tape right along one long edge. Now the way that you're going to use these 2 pieces is we're going to fold this one and let this be the front of our card because it's the cardstock color. This one we're going to place at the bottom and let it rest right there, okay? Now we're going to take a piece of the Snowfall acetate, lift off these panels, and position this right there. Now the reason why we do it this way, is so that, just like the very first card, so that the inside front of our card is clean. There's no extra edges there. Everything is on the front of the card. So by doing this process that I just explained, then you can put your papers on the front of your card, okay? And it will cover up those edges of the acetate. Now the paper that's used for the front is this one. It's out of the 6x6. Remember, you saw that on the 12x12 also, and I think it just does a beautiful job. So Teresa cut a piece right there, you can see, to go on the front, and then another piece to go on the bottom. And that way it covers up all the edges. The other thing that she did, and I think it's quite brilliant, is that she used some of the fab foil. And the fab foil is dark blue in this case. And do you see the shine that it gives? Really nice. Again, it is another technique that is super, super easy. Now, I'm going to use a piece of paper that happens to be sitting here. This is the pattern. This is a download. So when you go to the gallery and you click on this project, go to the supply list. At the end of the supplies, you'll see download, and that's where you'll see the tag pattern and the paper pattern. Now, what Teresa does is that she gives the tag pattern, it's for this tag, but she also gives you a pattern for the paper that's going to go on top of it. And I think that's just such a nice thing for her to do. It works really nicely, and it's just an extra bonus. So let's get back to the fab foil. The fab foil is going to be positioned on top of the extra sticky tape. So you're going to put a piece of extra sticky tape down, and I'm just going to do that right here. And I will cut that off like so. Now, in order to lift up the plastic liner, I always find it's good to just press your fingernail down, and that just makes it very easy to lift that up. Okay. Now, the fab foil, it looks like a small package right here, but it's actually over a yard long, so it's over 3 feet long. And all you do, in fact, you don't have to worry about areas that are not perfect, because you can just use everything. Press it down, and you just want to burnish it, and I just use my finger. Now, when I go to lift off, let's see what happens. It lifts off perfectly. Isn't that great? Can you imagine how far this will go? And you get that shiny, beautiful look. And Teresa placed it on their papers, as you can see, on the tag, on the top and the bottom of her card front. Really, really nice. Very clean look, very simple to do. And I have to tell you, I love the fact that she's giving us a variety of techniques, and they are almost foolproof. So love that, Teresa. Thank you. Now, our card front, I've shown you this piece of the download, so that works nicely. And then the other one right here, the snowflakes. Snowflakes were hugs. I'd send you a blizzard. Yes. Well, that is a die cut, and she's got the dazzles, snowflakes all over. And then she did one more piece, and she took the silver dazzles. I know those are kind of wow in your face, but there are 540 circles in 3 sizes. And she placed them in the center of her snowflake dazzles. On the inside, she has used this 6x6 paper. She's matted it, and she's also put the fab foil down there, and she's got 2 of the cutouts and 1 more of the die cuts and more of the snowflake dazzles, so that's really nice. Now, Teresa had an epiphany, and what she found is that fab foil will also work beautifully on our double stick dazzles. Now, we have ornaments, we have ferns, we have birds, stars, stockings, cupcakes. Right here, she did the ornaments. So it's the same idea. The double stick dazzles are sticky on both sides. So you lift it off, put it on your project, and then place the fab foil over it. Be sure to burnish it very firmly down. Lift the foil, and you've got a beautiful array of ornaments or stars or whatever you like. So it's nice to see a new use for an older product. So I love to see that. Okay, one last project. Here we go. Now this looks kind of funny right here, but let me show you as we open it. This is a twist easel card, and when you open it, celebrate the season, warm wishes, and be merry. Isn't that fun? Another part about this is it's easy to do. It's going to start with a card base that is a twisted double easel card blank. It has 5 cards, 5 envelopes, and it comes like this. Now when you get it, it's pre-scored for you, of course, and sometimes people ask, the score line has a bump on one side and it has a divot on the other. So where does the bump go? Well, the bump goes on the inside of your card. That's right. So what you'll do is you'll take the card, because it comes flat, and you're going to fold it like so, keeping that bump on the inside. I would really recommend you use a tool to really push down on this, because that will give you a nice crisp fold. Then these two, open it up, and they're going to go in, and again, use your bone folder, and this one goes in also. Same thing, use your bone folder, and that's going to just really crease those nicely. Now Teresa said that when she made this card, she really recommends that you make the inside first, because then the positioning of the front of it will be a little more obvious. So let's follow her directions. And what she has done is she has used this paper out of the 12 by 12 pack. You can see those snowflakes and stars. So she has cut it down and she has matted it onto the dark blue. So that's what that's going to look like. And she placed it right there. Now the warm wishes is from the cutout sheet, and there it is, right in the middle, warm wishes. Now you can mat it on white. By the way, you've got white because that's on the back side of the cardstock, and or you can just cut out around the edge of it. So it's your choice, whichever way you want to do it. So you can just leave a little white and trim it out, or you can mat it as a second process. Again, Teresa's, one of her claims to fame is how she uses ribbon. And this is another example where she wrapped the ribbon, not all the way around, but just brought the ends to the back and glued them in place. And then she's got this. The warm wishes is foam taped on top. I'll talk about the snowflakes in just a little bit. The other snowflakes that she's used, and I'm not sure if you can see them. I can see them here in person. These are the Blizzard snowflakes, and they're from Buttons Galore. They are sequins that are translucent, and let me just show you. Okay, you can see like that. And so she has used the Cosmic Shimmer glue and just attached them on top of her card. So that's another option for you. Get our snowflakes out of the way. Now we're ready to do our card front. Okay, this is the paper that Teresa used. It's out of the 12 by 12. Isn't that beautiful? Yes. Now a good way to do this is that these are 2 squares. So you can see the measurement again in the gallery. Cut out a square and then cut it diagonally, and you'll have 2 triangles, and they will fit perfectly. Teresa has elected to use her card as a mat, and so that works very nicely. So on each side, and then she knows how to place the cutouts so that they will do a nice job of having the card work when it's open, because that's really how it's going to be seen. Now, celebrate the season, right there as a cutout. And Teresa decided to mat it, and she did 2 mats. She used the 12 circles and scallops cutting dies to do a white one and then a purple one out of the cardstock For this one, the Be Merry, which is right there, she just matted it on the purple, and that just took care of it. Now, on the snowflakes, we're going to get in closer, aren't we, Steve? Are we going to get in closer? Okay. He's pushing the button, and it's going to work when it decides to. There you go. Can you see the shine and the texture that's on there? Well, that is done with fluffy stuff. No, it isn't. That is done. We used fluffy stuff earlier. It is used with Sparkle Puff, okay? Sparkle Puff is by Stampendous. It is an embossing powder, and it's going to give this glitter. And I'm not sure if you can see that, but I can see it right here. So there's texture and there's shine in there. Let me show you how that is accomplished. And I'll bring in my craft mat. And I'm going to bring in the cardstock. And in this case, I'm going to punch out my snowflake. There it is. And just remove it from the backing. And I'm going to use a watermark ink pad. So you can use Spectrum Noors, you can use Wow, you can use Versamark. Any of them is going to work perfectly. And you just tap this on. You want to get that nicely covered. Okay. Then we're going to pour our pour our embossing powder on top. And of course, with embossing powder, you can always be generous because you know the excess is going to be going back into the container. Okay. Then we're going to heat this with our glue gun now, our heat gun, sorry. I'm going to hold this down with a pencil, and I'm going to put the pencil right into this area just to hold it in place so it doesn't go all over. And as you would expect, this is going to melt the embossing powder. And it even also brings those sparkles to the forefront. And it doesn't take long, it's just like any embossing powder. I hope you can see it's starting to raise up. You do want to hold that in place. You probably could leave it into the backing of the chipboard. I just decided to take it out, but you do want to hold it down with something so that it's not going to go flying away. You can ask me how I know that because I've done that before. So there we go, and you can see that texture and the polish. It's just gorgeous. So you can see, I told you that Teresa has been having a fun time playing in the snow, even though she lives in Arizona. And this is our last card. And so Snowfall in 12 by 12, in 6 by 6, with the chipboard, with the die cuts, and with the cardstock. I hope you like this expanded collection because that's what we're doing for everything. Please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. Speaking of which, the comments are down below. Over on the right, you're going to see our money saver. If you're watching this on YouTube, please come over to paperwishes.com. Take advantage of the money saver, get the pattern and the instructions for all of these projects, and leave a comment if you will. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for being absolutely the best part of paperwishes.com.